unity. Utter unity. No unity. In this is to be summarized the trunk and branches of the tree of faith.
Islam brought a revelation which, like a rain, poured upon the soil of the soul of the Iranian people, who, because of many factors, including the rise of Manichaeism and Mazdakism during the Sassanid period and many social and religious and political events, were ready for the reception of this new message. The Iranians created a very major civilization before the rise of Islam. But the intellectual aspect of Persian civilization flowered with the coming of Islam.
To a people and a religion open to the world for novel ideas, the Iranians brought a unique gift, the experiences of an ancient and well-established civilization which the Arab rulers eagerly incorporated, including the ways to govern, to collect taxes, and to establish monumental architecture and art. The Bam Citadel in southeastern Iran is the largest and oldest mud brick city in the world. Here, before the devastating 2003 earthquake, distinct sectors were noticeable that could give us a relatively clear picture as to how the early Islamic cities in Iran might have looked. It consisted of the residential quarter that included a hypo-style mosque without a dome and a long bazaar, all enclosed by the main rampart. Then there was the governor's quarters on the hill, enclosed by another wall. A brilliant contribution of Iranian engineers was the development of the dome. As can be seen at the remains of the Ardashir Palace near Firuzabad, the inventive Iranian engineers had solved the question of putting a round dome on a square base by inventing squinches. Thus, in the Islamic period, the use of domes in the building of mosques started in Iran and spread to the whole Islamic world. Prophet Muhammad's decree for both men and women to learn and acquire knowledge from cradle to the grave encouraged Muslims to pursue learning. From the 9th century onwards, many Iranian Muslims became prominent figures in medicine and other disciplines. The greatest of these figures were Razi and Avicenna. Razi, known as Razes in the West, is also credited with the isolation of alcohol and its use in medicine as an antiseptic. Razi was the first physician to write a treatise on pediatrics. This is the resting place of Avicenna. A 1,000 years ago, Avicenna was one of the world's leading figures in philosophy, medicine and pharmacology. His medical treatises, known as Canon, was a basic text at Oxford and Montpellier as late as the 17th century.
Die europäische Wissenschaft.
Since in those times the Church had banned research and studies, science was under great pressure in Europe. When the achievements of Islamic scholars in various sciences reached Europe through translated books from Spain, Sicily, or by students in Cordoba, then science began to progress here. Therefore, Islamic scholars were the purveyors of science in Europe.
Blühte eigentlich überhaupt erst die Wissenschaft hier auf.
In mathematics, Khwarazmi, from whence we get the word logarithm and algorithm, introduced algebra to Europe, as well as the decimal system of numerals instead of Roman numerals. While Omar Khayyam classified the forms of cubic equations, and Biruni did pioneering works in geography and empirical physics. Ibn Khaldun, the 14th century Arab philosopher of history, has thus recapitulated this development.
Most Muslim scholars, both in religious and intellectual sciences, were Persians. Thus, the truth of the statement of the Prophet becomes apparent. If learning was suspended at the highest parts of heaven, the Persians would attain it.